Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is officially Lions Week. The Lions have punched their ticket to the NFC Championship, guys. And you know what that means. Deebo Samuel, hopefully he plays. Got a lot to talk about with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. If you guys remember, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson said a lot of stuff. But guess what? That doesn't even matter. We got to hope that Deebo is healthy. But this is it, man. The Lions are a great team, a heck of a story. Dan Campbell, man. God, dog, they're a dangerous team. Amon-Ra, they got Jared Goff, the Cali boy. You know he's gonna come in and want to get the dub in his home state, Cali boy. And you know what else? The other factor is they got some great running backs, Gibbs, and heck of a defense, good young players. Aiden Hutchinson, holy smokes, man! We need Deebo for this one, especially with all the talking that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did all season, man. I'm incredibly excited, man. This is going to be an all-time game. I'm going to talk about this for a few minutes. I don't want to take too long, but I got my boy 49er Minded in the studio, and I want to get his thoughts on Lions-Niners. This is going to be a crazy game, man. NFC Championship game next week, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, so that's 6:30 Eastern. I mean, this is the prime game of next week, it appears. I, for one, am excited. This is going to be a battle, man. They have a squad, man. Their team hasn't even been to the NFC champion, or hasn't been in the playoffs for a long time. And then they also, got to remember, haven't even won their division in 32 years. So the fact of the matter is, the Lions are low-key a team of destiny, man. So scary team, man. And now the 49ers have to face them. They had a tough matchup with the Green Bay Packers, and they're both from the same division, the NFC North, right? You have Green Bay, you have Detroit, and they gave us a problem. Now, can Detroit, finish the job that the Packers almost was able to complete? It's going to be a classic, man. We have to pressure Goff. The thing is, Jared Goff has a history with the 49ers. Kinlaw's had a pick six on him. Fred Warner's got a pick six on him. The 49ers have made Jared Goff's life very tough over the years. Can they continue to do that? We'll see. What's up, Bash? How we doing, baby? We live, baby. How we doing?
We'll do it live.
Yeah, man. How we feeling,
Let's go.
bro?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I mean, I saw the link and I didn't know you started already, so I was like, I turned my camera off. I was still trying to set things up with the green screen up, but I'm here. We're live and direct. I'm on with Raj, RS at 49ers. I know you were at the game. You must have been super hyped. So caught a little bit of your videos, and that game just had my head racing, and I was just so dazed and confused, and I thought it was just the weirdest feeling of a victory that I've ever had in my history as a Niner fan.
Bro, that whole game was insanity, man. Like, that game was crazy. I'm still reeling, from that, still on a high, emotionally high. I mean, it was a head rush. So for the fact that we got to okay, turn that off, and now boom, change the guard to the next game. Right now we have to focus up. Like, it's hard for me already to start thinking about this. I can't imagine the players. They got to boom, flip the switch. Let's go playoff football. Let's get it. Let's figure out what Detroit's all about. And this is good. This is gonna be crazy, man. Next week might be just as crazy as this last weekend. I don't know, man. I think this is gonna be a movie. There's cinema. There's so many moving parts. You got Deebo Samuel and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They were talking so much mess all season to each other. What do you got to say about this team, the Lions, coming up? What are your thoughts? It's a 7-point. The Niners are a 7-point favorite right now.
I'll say this: I'm happy that we're playing them at home in Levis Stadium. It's going to be a clear forecast, from what I understand, that next week, according to the 7-day forecast over in Santa Clara. And the reason why I'm happy is that Detroit Lions fan base is hungry, man. They were hyped in that stadium, and I don't blame them. I have a lot of relatives in the Michigan and Metro Detroit area, and they've been waiting for a winner for quite some time. I was actually in Detroit visiting when Barry Sanders announced his retirement, so a lot of history, and they've, it's been forever for them. I mean, it almost feels like they won a Super Bowl for them right now, if you think about it, because for them to get 2 playoff wins and a 12-5 season, all this is just like magical to them. But for the Niners, it's more like been there, done that for us, right? Mm-hmm. We know we still got business to take care of. We still got business to handle. And the stage, I don't think it's too bright for us. I think we're ready. We're primed and ready. We're battle tested again. So I'm ready for this, man. Let's do it. Let's see. I didn't have any favorites in who I wanted to play. People said like I had a preference. Oh, I want to play the Bucks because we beat them already. Or some people said, oh, I don't want to play the Lions. Like I don't care who we play. I mean, Campbell is a tough coach. I mean, he's hyped and he has his team primed and ready. I get it, but let's do this. I mean, we've played golf before, right, in the past. So I'm okay with it.
It's gonna be wild, man. So I'm pulling up to CJ Gardner-Johnson, and oh man,
What happened with him?
remember earlier in the season when he was talking trash about Deebo? Oh man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he used to be on the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That makes sense. And speaking of Deebo, has there been any word on the severity of his shoulder, what type of shoulder injury it is, and you being an injury type specialist, and what do you know?
They're still doing tests on him. So we'll find out soon enough. They're still doing tests on Deebo Samuel, and we'll get a good word, in terms of where he's gonna be. So 100% not sure yet. So
Cool. Yeah, man, that's pretty crazy that you're at the game and it was. Oh, you
hold on,
found it?
I'm gonna pull up. Yeah, let's pull up. This is.
I ain't gonna sit here and play with you, little boy. Another thing, bro. Listen, don't be friendly when you see me, cause you be so flashy. You better hope, boy. You better hope all that talking you be doing when we see y'all do wherever around it may be. Cause I can guard you. You can't run routes. You're a running back. And I ain't gonna sit here and play with you, little boy. Because you got a little bag, people get you a little clout, man. You ain't nothing, bro. Stop playing.
Wow, we about to line it up, baby. It's time. Woo!
Stop playing.
I hope Deebo plays, my boy.
I want Deebo out there. And man, like you said, you were saying that you thought Deebo was going to ball out and have this huge game. It's unfortunate we didn't get to see him play, and I thought he was going to be primed and ready for like I always tell you, the Deebo Tasmanian Devil, like what we saw against the Eagles, right? When Deebo just runs wild, catches that little 5 or 10 yard pass, and just runs all over the place, and you can't tackle him. I'm due for one of those Deebo games. You're due for one of those, and hopefully that shoulder isn't too much. Maybe we can pump some steroids up in that shoulder. I don't know. Do something, man. I don't know. You would know about the medication better than I would, man. The Barry Bonds effect. I don't know.
At the end of the day, man, I just hope that he's healthy, man. And if he's not, he's not. You know what I mean? Like he has to basically has to just make sure the 49ers have to make sure that they don't risk anything serious. If he can't play, he can't play. But he said he's okay. They're doing tests on him today, but you can't risk his long-term future. I hope he's good, man, but we need Deebo. We saw how much the team was missing him when he wasn't in the game yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, he was so critical for this team.
I totally understand. I mean, it sucked because when the game was going on, me and my friends were like sending each other little voice messages and little chats on Facebook Messenger. And one of my boys was like, dude, this is just like the Browns game all over again. I'm getting the Browns game vibe, because Deebo's out and it's raining. And I was like, oh, please don't say that. But so many times I watch the game and I'm as faithful as they get. And I'm the glass half full guy. I'm positivity, but I'm like, bro, I'm thinking back in my head, like, man, this great season, all these highlights, Brock Purdy balling. And
balling.
Yep. And here we go. All that for it to be a waste because we're going to be ousted in the divisional round. And but we fought back, we prevailed, and it's a thing of beauty, man. Shout out to my boy Big Play Dre, getting them interceptions, baby. Bro. I know he thought he was Deion Sanders running around and trying to, I know, like, bro, like, what was that one game when he had an interception and he tried to hand it off and do, like, he's got this obsession with the pick six, but like, just run straight ahead. He
told Fred, I want to get that pick six, bro. I want to get that pick six. He said Fred told him to get a pick six.
So he's trying to pass the blame on to Fred. And it was funny when Fred Warner was in the post game and the presser, and he's like, okay, I'm not the linebacker you guys wanted to talk to, but
Yeah. He's like, I know I'm not the linebacker you wanted to speak to, but here I am.
There you go.
Bro, those two guys are amazing.
I love them.
I love them, bro. But that was classic, man. But you know what? If you remember, the last time the 49ers played the Lions, 2021 home opener, Dre Greenlaw had a pick six. You remember that? Jared Goff?
Vaguely. I gotta go back and look at that. Look at that one. I gotta go back and
I
look
got
at
the
that
highlight.
one.
I'm trying to find all that.
Okay,
stuff
if you want, I could put it up on YouTube or on Twitter and share if you want.
Pull it
and
out.
run
Yeah,
it.
pull it up if you
I'll
got
pull
it.
it up.
If you
Okay.
want to check it out, pull out.
Yeah. Oh,
Dre Greenlaw, pick 6. Pull
I'll
up
do it
my
right now.
video. I just posted for CJ Gardner.
Is it on your Is it on your
I just tweeted
your
it
Twitter
out.
page?
Yeah, tweet it out.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
on there.
I'll put it up from your Twitter page. Let's do this.
Pull it up.
Bingo, bango.
And that way people could hear because I played it, but you don't get the full truth.
Yeah, I'll run the video through the browser. No big deal.
Okay, very good, very good.
We're a team.
Pull
Okay.
that
I
up.
see it. Okay, so let me just request the window thingy, and we're good to go. So let's just do this. I know Detroit Lions fans are hyped, but it's all going to come to an end. Is the game going to be on Sunday? Did they already set the date?
Sunday, yeah, I'm looking Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, so that's 6:30 Eastern.
Okay, I put in the request to for you to share my screen, so I'm not sure if you see it yet.
I don't see anything.
It shows in the studio, at least on my end.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Okay, I'm gonna play it now, right?
Let's go, baby.
Let me make sure the volume's up.
Yeah.
Another thing, bro.
Look at him.
Listen, don't be friendly when you see me, cause you be so flashy. You better hope, bro. You better hope all that talk you be doing when we see y'all, whatever round it may be, cause I can guard you. You can't run routes. You're a running back. And I ain't gonna sit here and play with you, little boy. Just cause you got a little bag, people gave you a little clout, man. You ain't nothing, bro. Stop playing.
He said little boy. He's a little boy. I'm gonna pull up that Dre Greenlaw pick 6 though.
Okay, yeah. So I'm pulling up all the receipts on Deebo and CJ Gardner-Johnson. So let me go back to you. This was on this was October 16th. This was after it was after after the Cleveland game, because remember Deebo and Trent Williams, they got in the tussle with Cleveland. They came out and had a fight. So the next day, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he tweeted out, or it was that day, he goes, "Trent, can't save you when you see me on and off the field, carry on." And then Deebo responded, and he was like, "This is comedy. Catch me off the field because you barely on the field or bouncing around on different teams. I don't even know why bro mentions me, was bored or something." And then CJ Gardner-Johnson says, "Deebo, you're not like that. I'm cool off the clout, but the cap must stop when you speak on my name." And then, oh my God, and then it got crazier. Deebo went on the Hey K Adams show, and he says he just sounded mad because I got a little bag and a lot of money, and no one know who he is. This is Deebo and CJ Gardner. And then the clip that you posted where he says, he's just a running back who can't run route. This is crazy. They got a fucking crazy beef, man.
Well, here's the deal though. He doesn't just have to worry about Deebo. He's got to worry about Ayuk, Juwan Jennings back in the mix, Kittle. He's got to worry CMC. Deebo's not our only guy, But God willing,
man, he just dug himself a hole, bro.
Yeah, God willing that Deebo's gonna be ready though. I'm a little worried, but something tells me they may just throw him out there anyways. I don't know,
but that's the thing. Like, I don't want him to risk an injury just to be, out there. You know what I mean?
Maybe we could have them out there in limited snaps or whatever. Who knows? Maybe it's a decoy. Who knows? I did find a Greenlaw on pick 6. If you want me to play it,
play it.
Okay, so let me send the request for that. We could do that. Just a moment. Here we go. Whenever you're ready, I'll play it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, cool. You got it up. Cool.
Yeah.
So this was we had the date is September 12th, 2021.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
3rd and 8 here.
Wow, back.
4-man San Francisco rush. Golf pressure comes. He's intercepted. Picked off by Greenlaw.
That's my dog.
Gonna take it to the house.
That's my dog.
For the touchdown.
Let's go, Greenlaw. We got some more of that.
Oh man, hey, send me that in the Twitter DM.
Oh yes, sir. Sure. We'll do, bro. Look
that
at Goff.
Classic,
that's the face I want to see.
3rd and 8
That's the
here.
face I want to see in Levi's on Sunday. That Goff face that I was so used to seeing when he was playing for the Rams, when he played against us. Yeah, we saw it plenty of times. Hopefully he's got those bad memories conjuring those nightmares in the back of his head. And please, can we see some Bosa and Chase Young pass rush and some Javon Hargrave kick the door down or whatever he's doing, whatever he does. You do it better than me, Raj.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now the thing about a lot of people giving Nick Bosa some crap, but I don't know. He played. I know he didn't get sacks, but I was watching watched the game again last night, and then I watched Baldy's breakdown. He had a really nice
All these
breakdown.
breakdowns.
Listen, man, Nick Bosa was getting chipped out, but he was getting a lot of pressures. It's just he gets doubled and chipped, and the tight ends heat him up. And I feel like Nick Bosa doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He's not getting the sacks, and people want him to get the sacks, and I understand it. But he's working out there. Like people in that video yesterday where, after Greenlaw gets the sack and he takes the knee, and everybody's like, oh my God. He was working, bro. Like I saw him. He was chasing Love. Love was moving. But the one guy that didn't really do much, Chase Young, he's getting a lot of criticism. He's there, but he's just he's not bringing the heat that we wanted. So I agree. They need to make sure that Chase Young can generate that pressure again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On that INT, the last one, I don't know about the first one, but definitely the second one, you saw Bosa coming around and heading, going straight towards Jordan Love, so Jordan Love probably cringed a little on that throw. And yeah, we had excellent coverage on that play, and Greenlaw doesn't get enough credit for what kind of catch he made on that play. That was a Brandon Ayuk diving catch, a type catch, basically very similar to what Ayuk did. So shout out to Greenlaw, man. I love it. I was dying to see some picks. I was hoping to see my boy Diamador Lenore, the hyena, get a pick six or get a pick or whatever, but Greenlaw definitely got his share, so that's good. And it was crazy because I was talking to you about this before we went live. We called each other up, and it's like my boy hit me up before the game. Shout out to Somi. He was saying that, I'm afraid about this game because it's raining right now and the game's just about to start. I'm afraid it might be like that Kyle Williams game that we both attended, and these other bad Niner playoff games that were in the rain that we lost. And I was like, nah, don't trip, man. They got to play in that same rain too. But the ironic thing is, we were at home. But yeah, it almost felt like the rain was affecting us and not affecting them. We saw it with the ball, with Brock Purdy had to wear the glove, and he didn't. Then he took the glove off. Then he did that throw where he's wiping himself. He's wiping himself mid throw or whatever. And then like our DBs are falling. They're falling, and it was just crazy, man. Like our DB, I just got tired of seeing our defensive back. Like I was telling you, like we're not going to see these Green Bay Packer receivers wide open like they were against the Cowboys, because when we play defense, we bring it, right. And then here you go, like these dudes are just falling left and right, and these Packers receivers are wide open and making huge plays, and it was stressful, bro. That game, I mean, you were there. You probably were even more stressed than I was, man.
Bro, it was crazy, man. And the rain, you're right. The rain was a crazy factor. I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a factor, Bash. I really didn't. But the rain was crazy. And you're right. The whole Brock Purdy glove on, glove off, like he couldn't get his hands, he couldn't get a grip on the ball. Like there was the whole part where he, was wiping his hand mid-play. Like it was crazy, man. Like as bad as people want to say Brock played, like, okay, yeah, he struggled early on, but he clutched up in the fourth quarter, and he absolutely outplayed Jordan Love when it came down to it. In the money time, the Packers, they let the Niners hang around. The defense was incredible, I tell you, for the 49ers, and they stuck around. It was good when they needed to be. Like it was a bend but don't break. They gave up some big plays here and there, but they put themselves in a great position. As soon as that missed field goal came, Brock Purdy was his moment, the legacy drive, as I like to call it. But you know what, man? It was a tough game, and the rain made it a more difficult game than it had to be. And you got to give credit to LaFleur. It was just a crazy game. My mind was warped.
Watching the game, my mind was just. If you saw my post-game show and hear the first things that come out of my mouth, man, I was so confused, man. I couldn't even talk straight. But yeah, watching LaFleur on the sidelines, every time they showed his face, I just wanted to punch a dude out. And then did that look on his face, like I hate it when we have to play these Shanahan pupils and they just do hella good. I'm like, I was telling myself the other day, like, because we're talking about Bill Belichick, like, why is it that Bill Belichick's pupils don't do shit? But yet Shanahan, who's yet to fucking touch a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl, that is, his pupils are they're balling out when they coach, right? And we have to face these adversaries that are always former Shanahan guys. And at the end of the day, he was coaching hella good. That's why I wanted to punch him out. That's a shout out to him. It's credit to him. If he sucked, I wouldn't want to lay a hand on him. So it's figuratively, not realistically, but.
It's crazy, man. This is a good point by Andrew. He said sports fans are the worst people on the planet, expecting athletes to be perfect all the time. And it's crazy, man. Like if someone messes up, they get criticized like big time. And then, we could be critical of them, but man, some people take it to the extreme. Like watching the game yesterday, again, it's 4 quarters. You gotta see the whole game play out. When certain players were having a tough moment, you gotta realize there's so much more game left. Let the game play out. But people get critical, like in the first quarter. Oh my God, game's over. They let up a touchdown. Like there's so much more game left. So it's people get emotionally attached, and I know a lot of people are betting on the game, so they got money involved, and that makes things a little bit more stressful when you got money involved. But at the end of the day, Niners held on. It's a tough game. It's a adversity type game, and that's the type of game I think you can win from and build from. Like there's nothing that I feel at this point can rattle the Niners. They played one of the most intense games that you could think of. This was probably one of the greatest of games of all time in 49er history. This ranks up there. It's one of the best games. When we look back on it, we're going to be like, man, this is one of the all-time games. So, there was the Pro Football Talk said this was like the most watched Saturday telecast since the 94 Olympics.
Olympics.
Crazy. That was
I don't remember the 94 Olympics being that big of a deal, though. That's the thing.
10,
the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics was a Winter Olympics, yeah.
We topped the Olympics, bro. Like this.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Game, man.
I was gonna add to this. I'm not gonna say names, but I'm really, really disappointed by the video that I saw put out by some guy who puts out 49er videos on YouTube saying Niner fans don't trust Brock Purdy, and the thing that pissed me off was, well, I gave him the benefit of the doubt for a second because in that video he said, people are gonna complain and say that Purdy didn't play that well because of the rain, and the rain got to him. I talked to people who were at the game. The rain wasn't that bad, but you were at the game. What was the rain factor? I mean,
the rain definitely early on was a factor, man. It was coming down. Like I said, it was harder than I expected. It was a definite factor in this game. And people that say it wasn't raining, they weren't. Like if you're not at the game, how can you know it wasn't that bad? Like at the game, it was. I had to get a poncho. Like, it was raining, so I'm sure it had an effect on the game. And I think the other big part of this game that was a factor was the fact that Deebo Samuel, not in the game, affected the 49ers. You know, and going back to the whole, Deebo, is he going to play or not? I mean, we don't know yet, but that was one of the biggest factors of this game. Was it changed the complex of how the 49ers ran their schemes and everything, and also the rain. Like it changes up because again. Going back to using Brock Purdy as an example, like he wiped his hand, like you could tell he was struggling to get a grip on the ball. So for people to say that it wasn't raining a lot, that's crazy. Like it was on and off. Like, you know how California rain is. It was on and off. But when it was on, it was a lot, And luckily in the fourth quarter, see, this is the thing. In the fourth quarter, the rain kind of went away until Greenlaw got the interception. So it was kind of like Mother Nature was Mother Naturing. And she was like, all right, I'm going to let you guys do your thing. I'm going to hang off. And now, Brock, you've had 3 quarters to deal with my issues. Here you go. Have a rain-free fourth quarter and enjoy it. And then he died. See, that's the thing. When it wasn't really raining, Brock Purdy played good, and that's when it mattered in the fourth quarter. He was the hero. Jordan Love tried to be Brett Favre. Like his inner Brett Favre, like took over his body. It's like he got possessed, and he was just gunslinging it. And again, great game, but people forget that he did throw 2 interceptions. I mean, one of them was tipped, whatever. But if Brock Purdy throws those 2 interceptions back, people are probably saying we need to draft a quarterback.
Without a doubt. And back to Purdy, for those who try to say that the narrative was that the Niner fans don't trust Purdy, like, and this person knows, I typed it in on his comments, like, don't speak for all the 49 fans because many of us do trust Purdy, and it's just crazy, dude. I forgot what I was going to say because I'm so pissed about seeing that. But what I do remember was his argument was that Niner fans keep saying run the ball. They don't trust Purdy. That means don't trust Purdy. They don't trust Purdy. Look, I say run the ball from time to time too, because I said it, on my pregame show that when CMC has 77 plus yards throughout this season in each game that he had 77 plus yards, we were 10-1. So of course I do want us to run the ball a bit. It doesn't mean that I don't think Purdy's a good quarterback. I've been hyping up Purdy all year. He's been having an incredible year, but there's a balance. Our offense is predicated on the run anyways. It's just, you got to have the yin and the yang, and we're not the type of offense that sits there and drops back and throws the ball 50 times a game. That's not what we do. So it doesn't mean that we don't trust him. I mean, it's like crazy, dude. But I'm glad. But once I saw CMC, I had my phone. I was like, damn, let me see how many yards CMC has. And I saw they had 77 in the game. I was like, okay, he cracked 75 yards. All right. But we were losing. It was like, damn, this we may be 10-2 with him getting 75 plus yards. But then we started giving him the ball more and more, and he was balling. And You
He was balling.
Yes, he was. And the blocking was really, the interior blocking was really, really nice on some of those runs too. And then what I liked was they stuck with it. That's what I love about this West Coast offense, this Niner offense. Even back when we had Gore, it's like, I don't care if he gets stopped or if he only gets 1 yard or 2 yards. Keep doing it because eventually he'll find that crease. He does that little jump cut or whatever, and he finds the hole and then he goes, and just stick with it, and eventually he'll find the crease and go.
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing is the 49ers, they have different ways that they can beat you, and they don't have to throw the ball 5,000 times, like you said. And then that was the biggest thing is if you stick with the offense, eventually it'll open up and get things. They grind you out. And the blocking was great in terms of the run. And I said the same thing. I'm sitting there going like, dude, we just need to feed CMC. We were all screaming. We were like, just feed CMC. Because there was a point. He was averaging like 6.5 yards a carry. I was just like, this guy, every time he got the ball, he was getting a big rush, And again, they were parting the holes for him. He was running through it. So I kept saying to myself, I said, just give this man the ball. At this point, if CMC's your big star, your weapon, with Deebo out, and they were playing really good, the Packers were clutching up. They had some good coverage. So it's like, you need to open it up. Like, you can't get Kittle involved if you're not running the ball, especially without Deebo there, because his motion sets everything up. And with Brandon Ayuk, they were putting Alexander on him, and that's a heck of a matchup. And, he was, one-on-one with one of the best. So I said, they got to run the ball. And they started to just chip it away and run. And that's when it happened. And then a guy that we got to talk about is Juwan Jennings, man. This guy stepped up mightily. 5 catches, 61 yards, 4 of those catches, first down. Like, he was a big part of that, reason of why they won. So he stepped up in the absence of Deebo. Big star in my eyes. But the fact of the matter is, people question Brock is silly, man. He's not going to always have to throw 300-400 yard, 250 yard, whatever. Sometimes, yeah, he's not going to make the best, games, and that's a quarterback. But he has this aura. He was so calm. And again, I don't want to say he's Joe Montana. I don't want to say he's Tom Brady. But those type of quarterbacks, early in the game, sometimes they struggle. They have interceptions. Joe Montana, 3 interceptions before the catch, right? He was struggling, and he clutched up when it mattered. And that's what Brock Purdy did yesterday. And, yeah, you can sit here and say it was a abysmal performance by Brock, but you got to remember, they haven't played in a while. I don't want to say they were rusty, but they definitely looked like it yesterday when they came out. They came out a little flat, and Packers were coming out with a lot of emotions. They're coming off a big win, a lot of motivation, so they had the momentum. They came into Levi's trying to take this wind out of the Niner fan sails, just like they went into AT&T Stadium and took their fans out of the stadium. So credit to those Packers, man. But end of the day, this Niner team was hard fought. And you just can't stop them when they're firing on all cylinders. But I tell you, you're right, man. CMC was the man. And I got this comment here. I want to talk about this.
Oh, good.
He says everybody's bashing Wilkes' corners. They were slipping, man, and it was causing flags. And we talked about this. I like this comment because me and you, when we talked on the phone earlier, we literally said, I said, this is one of the reasons. You told me, you said, people are getting hated on the Niner secondary, but they were falling and slipping, and you thought they were going to be able to play very good, but that field, again, going back to what your question was on the field conditions, that right there tells you everything you need to know. Like, if people say, oh, it's raining that much, why were the corners slipping, man? I know Green Bay, maybe they're used to it because they're in frigid temperatures. They play in Lambeau. They've played in cold weather because they're in the NFC North. And there's a lot of cold, stadiums they play. And there's sometimes Chicago. They play Chicago. It rains there a lot. So Green Bay might be a little bit more set in terms of their footwear and things like that. Niners cornerbacks were falling all the time.
Falling. They actually have millions of dollars invested into heating. I don't know if you know this, into this special heating system in that Green Bay Stadium, where it's like underneath the grass, they have a heating system implemented. And even in the concession stands where the beer is kept, to prevent the beer from freezing, so they can serve it to the customers properly, they even have a special heating system there. So it's just a different world. So you know what, Green Bay, hats off to them. What they did. Shout out to Ted, by the way. It's from Ted Talks Ball. I go on with him on Fridays early in the day. I didn't go on with him this past week. I apologize to him. I told him what's up, but he predicted a few weeks ago. Well, he basically said like the Packers were the team he didn't want to play. And I was scratching my head. I was like, why is he saying this about the Packers? I mean, he said this a good 3 weeks before the season ended. But they were the hot team going into the playoffs, man. We saw how hot they were against the Lions, and against the Cowboys. And it was like, Oh, maybe it was a fluke. No, that wasn't a fluke, dude. That team, for whatever reason, they just got bit by the hot bug or whatever, and they were ready to take us down in our own home. A little bit embarrassing, but we fought through it. Purdy persevered. We finally helped Shanahan overcome that 0-30 streak of his, which I thought was a little ridiculous. Good thing that he got the monkey off his back. You got Shanahan. You got the monkey off of the Shanahan's back too, basically.
He broke his curse, man. Like a lot of curses breaking this year. Jim Harbaugh broke a curse. Maybe Kyle Shanahan's season to break his curse. Niner, maybe, never know. But yeah, that 0-30 curse, down 5 points or whatever the case is. Every media outlet was posting. I was like, they're waiting for the Niners' downfall. They're waiting. They wanted to make the graphic. They had the graphic waiting. 0-31. They were waiting for it. They had to put the asterisk. He improves to 1-30. I was like, stop it. You guys are killing me. I got a question, or I got a comment from Tej Beats. He says Lions O-line got beat too. FYI, something to look upon. Absolutely, their O-line tonight was kind of an issue. That was kind of a problem, and the Niners got to be able to exploit that. We talked about pass rush. Niners have to get on to that pass rush. So
yeah, Lions got a strong O-line, kind of like the Packers do. I don't know whose O-line's stronger. One thing I did like about this game, though, the two teams were beating each other up. And that was good to see. And just I want to say a big shout out to all the chatters. See a couple of homies up in there. We got Tej Beats and Tree Quack. A lot of names I recognize up in there. So some good people, man.
Yeah.
I saw Fat Albert up in there. I think he has the coolest screen name out of anybody. Fat Albert, Depressed Niner fan too. That's
I like that name.
Yeah,
that's my boy, Depressed Niner fan. We got 2 more games to see if he's still going to be depressed Niner fan.
I know, right? We're gonna break the depressed Niner fan curse, and then he's gonna come up with a whole new screen name, right? So brainstorm on some screen names just in case, or maybe afterwards.
He's probably got a whole list of names set up. So end of the day, man, I'm excited. Niners, Lions. Yeah, man, this is gonna be a classic. This is gonna be a classic. If the 49ers win this game, Bash, the 49ers go to the freaking Super Bowl, man.
Yes, sir. And you're in your hometown. You're a Las Vegas guy, man.
I know.
And I know you were talking about trying to go, and you got your homeboy over there and everything. So that
I know.
Man. And trust me, as a fan, when I knew I became a diehard Niner fan I was in junior high. And what made me think that, what made me tell myself right now I'm a diehard Niner fan was that I used to see kids in junior high wear these Raiders starter jackets. And whenever I'd see them, I'd be like, fuck these motherfuckers. I just like cussed myself each and every time I saw those dudes with the Raiders starter jackets. And that was like kind of like the defining moment for me, a Niner fan. And I'll say this, but speaking of defining moments, that green line. So when the Niners won the NFC Championship game with Mostert against Green Bay, it was a beautiful game. It was an easy, fun game to watch. And Mostert was running all over the place like he was Barry Sanders, basically. But there wasn't like a specific play that like, wow, this is like a defining moment for Levis Stadium, right? We never really had that. We're a new stadium, right? Fairly new, 10 years or whatever.
10 years, yeah.
But that Greenlaw interception at the end, that's kind of like our not as good, kind of like our pick of the stick kind of moment, you could say. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, that to me was like, again, just being there felt like that was the like moment like that. I've been to so many Levi Stadium games. I was telling you, like, this was the best Niner game I've ever seen in Levi's, maybe of all time. I mean, that was a heck of a game for a playoff game. Maybe I'm just recency bias, feeling the hype still. But I tell you what, man, that right there, Levi Stadium, I've seen so many good games there, but nothing came close to that moment. Like if the Dre Greenlaw goal line stand would have happened in Levi's.
In Levi's, that would have been the defining moment.
But this was it, man. Like the fact, because I've seen some big time plays, like interception, pick six, the Talanoa Hufunga, right? The game sealers, but those were regular season games. Yeah, those are regular season games, man. Levi's never has ever been this loud. I've been to a lot of games. This was the loudest I heard it. You guys heard it on TV. It was just ear shattering. Like I felt like my ears were going to explode. It was so loud.
Damn, that's crazy.
Going crazy, man. Like this. Well, I honestly, Bash, I think you're right, man. I think you're right. This was the moment. This was the absolute moment of Levi Stadium. Like this was the Levi Stadium defining moment forever, and will be the game sealing interception by Dre Greenlaw. Like that was a fantastic moment, and the touchdown by CMC, like that whole drive, like that right there had Levi's just boiling. When CMC scored, the noise just broke open. If there was a roof on that stadium, it would have erupted. And that's why I feel like Jordan Love was making bad decisions at the end, and he made that gunslinger moment because I think he was just at that point, there was no quieting anything down. You couldn't hear yourself think. And the Niner fans took over pressure, and it interception. That was the noise. It was so loud.
And that's great to hear because there's a lot of Niner fans, tons of them. And I get it. You guys want the most beautiful stadium with the dome, and it's got to have the dome and be the most gorgeous piece of architecture I've ever witnessed on the planet. But at the end of the day, real football games are played outside. And that goes to anybody who's played football. They know that. Real football isn't played on that putty grass or whatever bullshit you want to call it, AstroTurf or whatever else they're calling it nowadays. And, you know, it's the night games at Levi's. I'll take that fucking stadium at night over any fucking stadium on the planet.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful at night, man. It is beautiful. I mean, I get the whole, elements, because Buffalo said the same thing last week when they were, had the snow game, and then people were saying they should have made a dome in Buffalo, but they're like, it's part of the game elements.
There you go. See, there you go.
Yep. Sometimes though in those summer games, Bash, those early
I know
game, bro. I know. Like I need. That's
what I'm saying. Make them all night games. Just make them all night games, dude. Night game. If every game was a night game, Levi's would be the most lit stadium in the league, dude.
It would be. Oh man, 49ers Stadium is the worst in Cosmo. I don't know. I've been to other stadiums. I've been starting to go to other stadiums, and Levi's is okay for it being. Like, it's a beautiful looking stadium, but for it being still kind of a modern stadium, like it's just kind of basic, it's just very basic. So no hate on Levi's, but it's taken some time for a lot of people to even come to the games. Obviously we were losing games, but man, when Levi's first opened, people didn't want to go, especially the hardcore, like people are, you can't move it out of San Francisco. It's come a long way. And that's why I said, like, this was the loudest it has ever been, Bash. I've never heard Levi's this loud. And I've been going to games for a long time. I was telling you earlier, I went to a game when I used to live in Vegas. I flew down to go see the Jets and the Niners. The Niners had Chip Kelly, Kaepernick. Like, this team was so bad, bro. This team was so bad. I flew down. I was like, let's go. Niner football, man. I got to see Levi Stadium, bro.
Chip Kelly season, man. Let's run that Chip Kelly no huddle offense all throughout the game and have 3 and outs all game long and tire out the defense. Let's do it,
terrible. Baby. My man Peter Parker says the traffic is terrible at Levi's.
It's funky. It's a funky situation.
So bad. That's why I just take the VTA, and I don't.
Me too. I just take the VTA too. Yeah.
It's just easier that way. Last second thoughts. Any final thoughts on this game, man? Coming up, Detroit Niners NFC Championship. Oh man, I'm hyped.
I've been saying that, like, Steve Young was right. I think he said, I kind of thought he wasn't right at one point because I just thought that we were the team that had the least rest days throughout the NFL season, right? And I was like, oh, cool. We have all this rest going into the playoffs. But Steve Young was like, no. I know he's specific. I think he said it specifically about Purdy, but he may have meant it for the whole team too. But he was just saying, like, no, Purdy needs to be out there. Purdy needs to play. And I don't know about him being rested all this time. And, we're kind of a bit rusty, to say the least, It didn't help that Purdy gets affected by the rain. Unfortunately, that's every player has their little downfall. No player is perfect. He's had a great and amazing season, but you can say he has a flaw in his game. That's it. God willing, hopefully in the future he fixes that and it doesn't become a flaw, and he can just ball out in rain games from here on out to the rest of his career. But at the end of the day, what was considered a bad game for Purdy, he overcame it and won. And he didn't even have Deebo. They said that he could never win a game without Deebo. Well, he won a playoff game without Deebo. How about that? So I think we got we hit the reset button. Our win streak started in the regular season, November 12th against the Jaguars. And I kept saying, we have to lose sometime in December. I don't want to go into these playoffs without losing the game. All the teams that win a Super Bowl lose sometime in December or late November, somewhere down the road. So we lost twice in December. We hit the reset button. Now things were a little shaky because we had too much rest, but we got that bad game out of the way. Let's go on a Brock Purdy win streak. Brock Purdy is great at doing win streaks. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there was a little rust. I guess Steve Young knew more than us. He knows, right? He
knows more about football than me. I'll say that much.
He hit the nail on the head, man. And they definitely were rusty. I got comments out there that Russell says the D line looked rusty yesterday. Vin says the D line looked rusty all season.
Hey, we're ranked 8th in the league in run defense. Statistically, we're really good against the pass.
Up, man. I think Armstead was rusty. You want to talk about rusty?
Yeah.
Armstead needed some WD-40 to get going yesterday. He was rusty. So maybe he'll explode in the NFC Championship game. But yeah, it's gonna be tough, man, because Detroit's got momentum. That's the thing is, maybe I don't know, maybe the rest hurt us a little bit. But hey, guess what? If you get to the Super Bowl, you're gonna have an extra week off. So both teams will be equally rested. So. It's a lot of pressure, but before you get to Super Bowl, you got to win the championship game, and I'm a little nervous. I wasn't too nervous last week, but I'm already nervous right now, and we got a whole freaking week, Bash. So
we do.
I don't know, we got a lot to talk about, but yeah, good stuff. I appreciate you for hopping on. Appreciate the Niner fans hopping in. Good stuff. We'll talk more. Me and you, Bash. We'll be back Friday, and we'll have our preview show, prediction show. By then, we'll have a lot to talk about. A lot of stories will have gone. So. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the Niner fans. You guys have a good rest of your night. Let's see who wins, the Bills or the Chiefs. Ready to watch that one now. So y'all have a good rest of your night. Much love. Peace.
Bang, bang, Niner gang. Let's go.